Six teenage boys walked into a marina on St. Patrick's Day 1995. Three of them showed up on security cameras. The other three? Nobody knows where they were. Within hours, all six had vanished onto Lake Ontario in stolen boats. 31 years later, searchers have found exactly one thing: a gas can. No bodies, no wreckage, nothing. Today, we're talking about the lost boys of Pickering, and this one gets weird. Lake Ontario looks like an ocean when you stand on the shore. It's the smallest of the Great Lakes by surface area, but in some spots it drops to over 800 feet to the bottom. On March 17, 1995, that water was sitting at about 2 degrees Celsius, cold enough to kill you in minutes. That's the night six teenage boys from Pickering, Ontario, decided to steal a couple of boats and go for a joyride. They never came back. I'm talking about Jay Boyle, Chad Smith, Robbie Rumboldt, Jamie Lefebvre, Michael Cummins, and Danny Higgins, ages 16 to 18. Regular kids, high school students. Jay Boyle had a baby daughter named Kiera. These were not hardened criminals planning to disappear forever. They were teenagers making spectacularly bad decisions after drinking too much at a party. The weird part? After 31 years, we've found almost nothing. No bodies, no boats, no clothing. Just one gas can that washed up in New York 2 weeks later. It's like they sailed off the edge of the earth. March 16, 1995. It's spring break. The boys are at a basement party in Pickering, drinking, possibly doing other drugs. Around 12:40 a.m. on March 17th, they leave. Before walking out, they tell a friend they're going to goof around on a boat. At 1:48 a.m., security cameras at the East Shore Marina capture three of the boys entering the grounds: Michael Cummins, Jamie Lefebvre, and Robbie Rumboldt. Clear as day on the footage. The other three boys, Jay Boyle, Chad Smith, and Danny Higgins, not on camera. Nobody knows where they were. Were they acting as lookouts? At a different part of the marina? Did they split up? Police reports don't have an answer. Between 2:30 and 3 a.m., people near the marina reported hearing a motorboat engine out on the lake. By that point, the temperature was below freezing. The lake was freezing, and these kids were drunk. At 3:30 a.m., two teenage girls, girlfriends of some of the boys, called police to report them missing. Durham Regional Police told them to have the boys' mothers file official missing persons reports in the morning. No immediate response, no search launched. That delay would haunt this case forever. It took 36 hours for police to connect missing teenagers with missing boats from the marina. By 2 p.m. on March 19th, a massive search finally kicked off. Durham Regional Police, Toronto Police Marine Unit, Canadian Coast Guard, a Hercules C-130 aircraft, search and rescue helicopters with infrared technology, thousands of volunteers. They found nothing. Not a shoe, not a jacket. The infrared technology was looking for heat signatures on the water, but after 36 hours in 2-degree water, there were no heat signatures left. The only thing that turned up was that 5-gallon gas tank. About 2 weeks later, the Coast Guard found it floating near Wilson, New York. The owner of the boat confirmed it was his, but the gas cap was missing and the tank was upside down. Private investigator Bruce Ricketts, who would spend 13 years working on this case for free, asked a good question. If that gas can floated on rough waters for 2 weeks without a cap, wouldn't it have filled with water and sunk? Nobody had a great answer. The boys stole 2 boats. The first was described as a 14-foot imitation Boston whaler with an outboard motor. Actual Boston whalers are famous for being unsinkable. They use foam injection that fills the hull with high-density foam. You can cut one in half and both pieces will still float. This one was an imitation, a knockoff. It probably didn't have that same foam core technology, just fiberglass with basic air pockets. If that boat capsized or took on water, it could absolutely sink. And in 800 feet of freezing water, good luck ever finding it. The second boat was a 3-wheeled water tricycle, a paddle boat. These things are wildly unstable in choppy water. They're designed for calm, shallow resort lakes. Taking one onto Lake Ontario in March is like taking an umbrella to a hurricane. The theory is that the boys were using the motorboat to tow the tricycle. If someone on the tricycle fell into the water, everyone in the motorboat would lean over one side and help. Small boats with too many people leaning on one side flip. That's physics. And if you go into Lake Ontario in March wearing street clothes, you're not swimming to shore. You're dying pretty fast. Here's where this moves from a tragic accident, possibly, into genuinely weird territory. The East Shore Marina sits right next to the Pickering Nuclear Generating Station. This massive facility requires enormous amounts of water from Lake Ontario for cooling. The intake systems pull thousands of gallons per minute. For years, people have theorized the boys' boat got too close to the intake pipes and was sucked in. The suction overwhelmed their outboard motor, pulling them into the cooling system, and that's why no wreckage was ever found. Ontario Power Generation pushed back hard on this. They said that the intake systems have bar screens and barrier nets to keep out large debris. Maintenance crews regularly clean these screens and have never found any boat fragments, clothing, or human remains. The intake velocity isn't designed to pull in a 14-foot boat. But those maintenance logs are internal. The public has never seen them. Bruce Ricketts never got access. So while the official line is, the nuclear plant theory is debunked, nobody outside of the company has verified that. Is it likely? Probably not. Is it possible? Maybe. The fact that we're even having this conversation 31 years later tells you how little evidence exists. In 2010, Bruce Ricketts got involved. He worked this case pro bono for over 13 years before he died in January 2024. He never solved it, but he found things that the police either missed or ignored. Ricketts got the complete surveillance footage from the Marina that night, 16 hours of video, and he found something nobody has talked about publicly. At 2:10 a.m., 3 other people entered the Marina, 2 women and a man. As they walked, the man suddenly moved ahead, turned to face the women, and held his arm out like he was pointing at something. Who were these people? What were they pointing at? Did they see the boys? Nobody knows. According to Ricketts, Durham Regional Police have never followed up. There's no mention of these 3 individuals in the official case files. Ricketts had to submit 3 Freedom of Information requests to get the footage, and police initially told him that it didn't exist. At 2:21 a.m., the camera near the dock shut off. Just went dark. Malfunction, dead battery, or did someone turn it off? We don't know. In 1998, human remains were found in the Niagara River, partially encased in red Levi jeans. When Jay Boyle disappeared, he was wearing red Levi's. It's a bold fashion choice, but we're not here to judge. The families didn't find out about this discovery until 2013, 15 years later. In 2014, Jay's family demanded DNA testing. It took over 5 years to get the results. The DNA did not match Jay Boyle. It didn't match any of the 6 boys. Then the coroner's office said that the pants had waterproof coating and couldn't be from red Levi's from the 1990s. Different reports gave different descriptions. The evidence box was apparently lost for years. It's been 31 years since Jay Boyle, Chad Smith, Robbie Rumboldt, Jamie Lefebvre, Michael Cummins, and Danny Higgins walked into Frenchman's Bay and never walked out. Their families still don't have answers. This case is still open with Durham Regional Police, but there haven't been any significant developments in years. Bruce Ricketts died in January 2024 without solving it. The Facebook page he ran has been inactive ever since. Modern technology could help. Autonomous underwater vehicles with high-resolution sonar could scan the deep sections of Lake Ontario. Genetic genealogy could identify remains if any were found. But someone has to fund that. Someone has to care enough to keep pushing. Somewhere under that water, maybe in 300 feet of depth, maybe deeper, there might be a 14-foot fiberglass boat with 6 teenagers inside. Or maybe not. Maybe they're somewhere else entirely. Maybe the answer is something nobody has thought of yet. All we know for sure is that on March 17th, 1995, 6 boys went looking for an adventure. They found something else instead. If you have any information, Durham Regional Police asks that you contact them, or you could reach out anonymously to Crime Stoppers. Somebody out there knows something. Those 6 boys matter, and their families deserve to know what happened.